Hello and welcome to the HSBC UK Men's National Road Series. The winter of 2018-19 has served up its usual mix of new team formations and rider transfers. And the Premier Series here in the UK has also undergone a transformation. Now the top races form one big contest and the stakes are higher than ever. It's going to be an exciting season. This year's HSBC UK National Road Series is made up of 11 races across the country. At each round there are 30 points up for grabs for the winner, and the rider with the most points at the end of the series wins the crown. It's as simple as that. Not only are they racing for the series, 6 teams are also competing for selection for the OVO Energy Tour of Britain. Points can be earned from most major domestic road and circuit races, including the first 9 races of this series, with the last chance of earning points being the 3-day race on the Isle of Man. Points are awarded based on a team's highest overall finisher, and with only 4 spots available, competition will be tough.
No, it's great for the British scene, to have the British champion racing the national round. It's fantastic, and I'm obviously happy to be here and racing my bike, and it should be a good day.
And of course all change with the series as well, becoming now just one long Premier Series. What do you make of the transformation? Yeah,
I think that's better. You haven't got a split in it, so it's a lot better, and it makes it a bit more interesting because you could have someone leading halfway through and then it could all change in the latter bit later on in the season. So I prefer that way. 2017 winner of this race, are you expecting a bunch kick today?
I hope so. It'd be good if it is. I'm not sure. There's a lot of lads here that won't want a bunch kick anymore for that reason. So we'll try the best to drop us on these climbs. But I don't know. Training's been good. It's like first race really. So let's see how it goes on these climbs.
We've got a strong team, good depth amongst the squad, and we've all been doing quite well on the continent so far. The results have been nicely spread out, so that is a good feeling going into this first race. It's going to be interesting to see how everyone sorts themselves out in this first race. Be interesting to see how the sort of the hierarchy of the teams are. We're a very different team as well this year. I think this will set a tone for the rest of the series.
Feeling good. We had a bit of shake-up. It's very different to last year. It's my first Prem. I've never done a Prem before, so I'm excited to see what it entails. I've had a lot of rumours, a lot of things, but putting the hard yards, putting a good block of training, and we haven't been hanging about. And the lads are all here. They're willing to work. So we're all ready. We're all guns blazing.
So we've got such a long series now. It all kind of bides for that Tour of Britain qualification. So we've got to be on it every round and make the most of every opportunity.
The market town of Gisborough in the northeast of England, regarded as the gateway to the North York Moors, plays host to the 3rd edition of the East Cleveland Klondike. Starting in Gisborough, the race also takes in the 11 villages that make up East Cleveland, as well as the small seaside town of Saltburn by the Sea, just down the coast from Redcar. Saltburn's most recognisable feature, aside from the pier and ice cream stands, is the challenging climb of Saltburn Bank. With 2 hairpin corners and a maximum gradient of 25%, it certainly is a favourite for local cyclists, and the 4 ascents of this climb always proves influential on the race. Well known in the area for its weekly open-air markets, Gisborough also attracts visitors from all over the world to the ruins of Gisborough Priory, which this year celebrates its 900th year since it was built in 1119. An excellent example of early Gothic architecture, it remains a symbol of the town. The 2018 Klondike Grand Prix was hard fought, but in the end it was World Under-23 cyclocross champion Tom Pidcock of Team Wiggins who went solo and took a stunning win. Today the riders face 105 miles. The peloton race a large circuit that takes in Broughton, a climb away from the sea in Saltburn, Skelton in Cleveland, Boosbeck and Kilton Thorpe. They cover this 3 times before taking in a shorter loop. Then it's a very fast run back to Gisborough for the race finish in the town centre. Time to get our first race of the series underway with our commentators Magnus Backstead and first Anthony McCrossan.
The peloton on the start line and about to get underway in this first HSBC UK National Road Series event. Well, the series now brought together. Traditionally we had the Spring Cup and the Grand Prix. Now it's all about one series, one intention, and that is to win overall and be crowned the champion after all the events. New colours, new teams, new sponsors, and we're going to make sure that you know exactly who is in the peloton. Magnus, sun's out, always nervous times for these riders because the training's done, now it's all about the racing.
Yeah, it certainly is, and as you just said, we're going to see so many new teams on the scene this year. A lot of the old teams have disappeared as well, so it's going to take a little bit of time for us, I think, to sort out who's gone where and who's racing for what team.
On the front then, it's the team in red, and that is the Vitus Pro Cycling, powered by Brother Team. They've been strengthened with the addition of World Tour rider Scott Thwaites. He'll certainly add a little bit of firepower, and there's some firepower in this little group as they start to nudge clear from the front of the peloton. And on the right hand side is Dan Tullett from the Wiggins LeCole team. Dan Tullett, a very good cyclocross rider, Magnus. He's finished on the podium of the Junior World Championships.
Yeah, he certainly did, and yeah, this is quite a strong group that's forming here, and it looks like it's Max Stedman there as well at the CanyonDHB presented by Bloor Homes coming across, and yeah, I think the bunch want to just make sure that they don't let these guys go too far. It looks like Dan Bigham down the back there as well for Ribble Pro Cycling.
Well, Ribble are represented. That's the team in black with the turquoise on the cuffs of the jersey and the turquoise bikes. CanyonDHB presented by Bloor Homes. They're in here in a couple of numbers. In the white are SwiftCarbon Pro Cycling and Madison Genesis in changed colours with orange and turquoise. A lot of turquoise in this field.
Yeah, it seems like every year there's a new colour coming in and everyone is going for it. So yeah, it can be a little bit tricky to differentiate between the different teams at points, but I'm sure we'll get our hands around it as this series goes on.
On the front then, Vitus Pro Cycling in the red, and it's Adam Kenway who's in the group. Sitting on the back is Matt Holmes. He's the rider in the orange for Madison Genesis. Holmes is always on form in these races.
Yeah, and it's always difficult when you're coming into the first race of the year, the first real big outing on UK roads, and finding the way of how this bunch races, how everyone is going. You've been abroad and you race against some of the international fields, but it's always difficult and different when you get to the first national series.
Well, national series races are always known for being flat out from the start, no let up, and then the race comes forward as we continue on to the climb to the King of the Mountains in Saltburn. And a great crowd on this climb.
Very good crowd indeed, and it's so important to get yourself right near the front going into the bottom of this climb, because it just goes from flat to very, very steep quickly, and through these switchbacks as well. The inside line is very, very steep, much steeper than if you go on a slightly longer road. So you want to make sure that you can pick your own line going up here if you certainly got intentions of picking up a couple of points for the King of the Mountains at the top.
Well, one rider who's stated his intention, and he looks like he's going to score the points, is Kiffin from the Ribble Pro Cycling team. He's first over the top, being chased by George Wood in the white of the SwiftCarbon Pro Cycling, and hanging on the back, Kieran Savage, and that climb certainly lived up to his name, and his legs must be hurting.
They certainly will do after that. There's no ways around it. When the climb is that steep, you can ride up it slow and your legs are still hurting. But certainly when they're putting the power down like they were there, you're gonna be feeling it.
Towards the back is Dan Bigham, a very good track rider, really strong in time trials, wearing number 18 for Ribble. They're going to now push on over the top here, and they're still opening up their advantage. Still plenty of seconds intact. as they go downhill now through one of the little towns. And what is great about this Klondike Grand Prix is a number of people who come out and celebrate the race.
Yeah, they certainly do. It seems like the whole community is getting behind this race, and it's great to see, and that just goes to show how much the sport of cycling has grown in the UK over the last number of years. And you know, it's just nice to see that we're getting more and more bike races. But this group here now is really starting to become quite a big threat to the peloton. If anyone's got aspirations of doing anything today, they need to start thinking about what's the next tactical play here to get back into the bike race, because these guys are really not hanging about.
Well, you're right, because at the moment we've got all the big teams represented. That's where we're going, back to the King of the Mountains, right on the other side. But the teams of Madison Genesis will be very happy. I would have thought CanyonDHB will be happy, so are Ribble. Maybe Swift and Wiggins and Vitus not so content with how this breakaway is formed.
Yeah, I think you're right there, Anthony. It's especially, you know, with Scott Thwaites in there as well, coming back into this level of racing again after a really difficult year. You would have thought he'd have high hopes on opening his season up in a big way.
And we can see already Vitus Pro Cycling, powered by Brother, they are now on the front, so they must be thinking, let's bring this back together. Onto the climb, Tullett sitting on the back, a lovely pedalling style as he just spins his way up the climb.
Yeah, it certainly is. And then we got this fast descent to deal with, and like I said, it's so important to make sure that you're right near the front, stay out of trouble.
Over the top of the climb then, the second King of the Mountains. Looked like George Wood in the white and blue was over the top there, but just up the road is yet again the man from Ribble, Kiffin, who takes the maximum points, and he will be top of that leaderboard. These 10 riders have been away for a long time today. Patton and Stedman of CanyonDHB, Holmes and Moses of Madison Genesis, Bigham and Kiffin of Ribble, Wood of Swift, Tullett of Wiggins, Kenway of Vitus, and Savage of Cycling Sheffield. But now, Magnus, a big attack at the front.
Certainly is a big attack here by Tom Moses, really committing to this one here to try and pull himself clear of the remaining group. Looks like Matt Holmes does wanting to follow that one, so nice little group here coming together.
Whoa! Big crash, and that was the rider from Swift, George Wood, hitting the deck as he went downhill, just as this quartet had formed at the front.
Looked like he just caught a cat's eye or something like that and lost the handlebars. Hope he's all right.
This is the remnants of that front group, and it's Adam Kenway of Vitus who's trying to put Vitus back in a winning position, but he's missed the group after they went clear. 3 riders now at the front, Holmes and Moses of Madison Genesis, and Stedman in the middle.
Yeah, and Stedman, who's clearly seen that this was a dangerous move, and he's so good at these kind of races and getting himself into this type of a group, and just loves that grippy hard road racing.
He's a rider who will be looking forward to the Tour of Yorkshire, which is coming up very shortly, and he really loves, as you said, the grippy roads, the little climbs, punchy stages. But Madison Genesis are the team who really are on the front foot here, and with their team director, the original director of Madison Genesis, Roger Hammond, on the day of Paris-Roubaix, as he finished 3rd on a year that you won it, Magnus. He's back in the team car, and he will be guiding this team, and with a smile on his face at the moment.
I'm certainly sure he will be. It's a good position that they find themselves in here, and like I said, if the rest of the bunch wants to get back into the race, they better start moving now, because it's still such a really strong group of riders up front. Certainly that trio, and then these guys just chasing behind.
Well, they just went past Woods sitting on the road, so he's sitting up. We know he's okay, and the mechanics and out of the Brother team car looking after him. The ambulance will be there soon, and they'll make sure he is okay. Kiffin looks across. This is the peloton. It's all starting to reform. They're bringing riders back, and the peloton now starting to look very keen on bringing this race back together. Wiggins also now need to start to chase.
Yeah, they certainly do. I mean, they really got to make sure that they send a man up the road with the next move that goes here, because this is just that lull in the action when everyone's taking stock of what's happening, who's still up the road, what have we got left in this very reduced peloton, and then put the next move on.
Well, it looks like the surge is starting to bring this race back together. And Madison Genesis' Holmes looks around and he realises that the race is back together. He sees his teammate, the British champion Connor Swift, towards the front. And now Swift decides to go.
And Swift is definitely committing here now. He's putting in such a big effort and just not really sitting down yet either. He's very, very committed to this one. It's that Rory Townsend. It is following that one, looking very strong indeed as well. But I think that was Scott Thwaites coming out of the group there in that red jersey. It certainly looked like his style.
It does look like Scott Thwaites. He rides a big gear. He's trying to power across. Swift in the white. Rory Townsend in the blue of the CanyonDHB Bloor Homes team. And cruising across. Look at Scott Thwaites.
I think it's fair to say that Scott Thwaites is back. If you've got the legs to go across a gap like that, then you clearly got good legs. And yeah, I think he's certainly going to be a man to be reckoned with this year. Well,
what can you do now? Who do you decide if they do stay away? Who can win this one? Because Townsend is a man on form, third in the Classic Loire Atlantique already this season, 23 years of age. Swift, the British champion, and Thwaites, who's ridden a Vuelta a España and second in big races like Le Samin, Drenthe, and even 10th in Strade Bianche.
Yeah, it's not an easy one to call, and certainly as Scott Thwaites is coming back into racing after a troubled season, and the other two really on fire, as you said, Anthony. And I think it's going to come down to really positioning in the final kilometre and certainly into that final corner. Just I think actually you need to be first into that last corner.
Well, let's see what happens. Can they stay away? Their lead is now growing. A little bit of rain on the lens now, and Swift is really motoring on. Flicks the elbow. Townsend, rock solid on the bike, goes through. And Thwaites, ever a competitor, working his way through in the red of Vitus Pro Cycling. All the big teams represented here at the front and not far to go.
Yeah, just missing that the team of Wiggins Lecole. They've just missed out on this one. A bit unfortunate, but like I said, the three real big teams here now are certainly represented, and Scott Thwaites on the front looking really, really strong. Connor Swift certainly got a much more sort of agile pedalling style. He's turning a smaller gear as well, trying to save those legs for the final sprint here.
All important note, this is the first race of the season. You want to get the victory. This is one of the counting races towards qualification for the Tour of Britain, and these teams all want to ride that, but there's only 4 places, and two of these teams are going to be disappointed. Really urgent now as they push forward.
Yeah, definitely is, and all of these races are important. National Series has grown in stature over the last number of years, and we get more and more races on the calendar for it as well, counting towards the overall. So setting off the season with a win would be good for either of these teams.
Thwaites then on the front as he continues with his pacemaking. The lead is still intact. The peloton aren't getting any closer to these riders because there's no chase going on. Townsend is the rider who has just adjusted his shoes. He wants to make sure that everything is in place.
Yeah, such a typical trademark you see coming into the final kilometre. Just tighten everything up to make sure that you get the maximum acceleration out of that last corner up towards the line.
1 kilometre to go. 37 seconds the advantage for these riders, which means they should manage to hold on as long as they don't play around too much. Townsend recognises that. He goes to the front. Thwaites, though, Magnus playing a clever game. He's not doing any work now.
No, he's not, but this is one of those opportunities, I think, for Scott Thwaites, if he really can catch the other two sort of staring at each other and get a jump just before the final corner. And I think that could be the winning move. Otherwise, whoever comes out of that final corner first, I feel, is going to have this one.
Well, look at this. Almost track standstills as they all look around at each other and they work out who is going to take the jump first. Townsend now moves to the front.
Townsend moves to the front, as you say. Scott Thwaites there. Is he going to go before this corner? Corner just coming up here now. Going 3 abreast.
They're all across the road now. Swift, a little shoulder bump on Scott Thwaite. Townsend is first to come out the corner. Swift tries to challenge, 150 metres to go. Look at the speed of Rory Townsend. Townsend makes his way to the line. It's going to be the first win for CanyonDHB Bloor Homes. And that was a great sprint.
Such a good technical sprint there. Just come out of that corner in a small enough gear to get the jump and didn't really go too much of a bigger gear either. So really, really smart.
This is a little group of riders now coming in. Gabs Calaig on the front for Wiggins as Tim Elverson comes across and gives him a big kiss. He's happy with that. And here comes the second group making their way up towards the line. It's the sprinter from Team Wiggins, Gabs Calaig, who's going to finish first in this group, and Holmes not too far behind. All congratulations then. A few little signatures for the fans. Rory Townsend takes the win.
You screamed yes coming over the line. Can you put into words how much this means to you?
Yeah, it's a really good one for me because I had a really good year in 2017 and thought I could have won one of these, but I was up there but never quite winning. And then last year was just such a bad year. I was plagued with injuries, and I did kind of think that could have been it for me. I wasn't sure if I'd be back racing this year, and then obviously Tim's kept his faith in me, and I feel like I'm finally repaying him back, so it's really nice.
And I heard your reaction as well with your team director and indeed other members of your team. How much was this about what the guys around you did as well?
Yeah, I mean, I felt good at the coming into this race, and I said to the guys, I'm feeling good for this one. So I sort of did put the pressure on myself, and but the boys really rallied around me, really looked after me all day. So I was just so relieved to sort of pull it off for them as well. Yeah.
Congratulations, first win of the series, well done.
Thank you very much.
So Rory Townsend is the man to beat in the individual standings after victory in the first round. He's on 30 points. Scott Thwaites is second, national champion Connor Swift is third. And with 3 riders in the top 10, Madison Genesis are top of the team standings on 66 points. Team Wiggins are second, 20 points behind, and CanyonDHB, powered by Bloor Homes, are third. 6 registered teams compete for 4 invites to the OVO Energy Tour of Britain over the next 14 events. And here are the standings after round 1. Well, what a race and what an incredible win for Rory Townsend. That's it from East Cleveland Klondike. We'll be back though on Sunday the 12th of May for the famed Lincoln Grand Prix. Why not join us roadside or tune in for the highlights? For everything else from the Men's National Road Series and the world of cycling, head to britishcycling.org.uk or follow the hashtag National Road Series. We'll see you next time.